Good, man.
Happy
Happy
Friday,
Friday.
everyone. And look what I got. Finally, I got a Tesla Supercharger adapter. Look at
That
this thing.
thing is huge.
Yeah, I mean, it's heavy too. This is the Electron Supercharger adapter. And so far, you can use it with Ford and Rivian and any other car that signs on with Tesla, right? So you can use this on most superchargers now. Most they have to be a version 3, 250 kilowatt, and Tesla has to allow it. Like it's not a heavily used one, right?
Yeah. My neighbor, he's got the Ford electric truck, the Lightning,
The
I guess, or
Lightning
something.
F-150,
And
yeah.
he ordered one, but he's waiting for it.
Oh, he's waiting for the adapter. All
Yeah,
right, well,
yeah.
I'll sell him one for twice what I paid. No.
That's messed up, man.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
not gonna
hard to
go to my
come by.
neighbor and
Like
say,
they,
"Hey."
it's funny. Like there was basically like a recall on this adapter, Electron one, that the pin that locks in the supercharger cable was not engaging right, so you could just pull the cable out.
Oh,
So then they basically had to recall them all and then send out an updated design. It's a part defect. The manufacturer didn't, have the tolerances on this pin, and then I've also seen people leave them on the supercharger, because they can't get them off. So
oh, really?
yeah, there was some teething pains with this thing. Um,
Ooh,
but so basically they charged the vehicle. They couldn't figure out how to unlatch this. You got to push down on the button, push it, and then pull out.
I don't think I would leave until I figured that thing out.
Yeah, it's $200, so I wouldn't leave
Yeah,
it there. I mean, I would think people would cut the supercharger handle off before leaving this, right? Like,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah. Would not leave.
no, this is great. So that especially the Rivian, I'm gonna use this next weekend. We're gonna go camping, and it opens up a lot of new
I did not
charging.
know. I didn't know you were going camping.
Yeah, yeah, we're going. We're going
Yeah, we're
camping,
getting ready. We're getting
taking the
ready to go
Rivian.
again too.
Huh, you went camping too. You like that, huh?
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, I
Cool,
liked it.
fun experience.
Yeah.
Um, all right, so speaking of experiences, the new ECW526 is shipping. So this basically is going to let everyone experience Wi-Fi 7 at this new price point that
Yeah,
this
for
this
sure.
CP is at, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we were just talking about the test results on that thing are pretty amazing.
Yeah, I saw.
Um, yeah, and it does make it available to everybody. And it's not like you're buying like a really good nice piece of like hardware, right? It's
Yeah,
got, it's running on Qualcomm. It's a 2x2 antenna. It's got 10 gigabit Ethernet port. It's got all these nice bells and whistles to it.
5-year
Um,
warranty. Don't forget
five
that.
year warranty. I forgot to even mention that. Yeah, so 5 year warranty on that thing. So and price MSRP is 299.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I mean,
pretty ridiculous.
right, for a quality access point like this, and you can use this like in hotels, like in in the hallways, in the rooms, right? Like for general Wi-Fi access, it's a 2x2 access point.
Right.
So it's not as fast or have the range of the 4x4, but it's more compact also.
Yeah, definitely more compact, a little bit thicker. I
Yep.
just mounted one last night in my garage, and the mounting is much nicer as we were talking about, and then the access to the ports
Yeah.
is nicer. That's one thing I recognize when I mounted this is like, oh, the port's like right there. I can get to it pretty easily. And then the mounting is like this round mount that you just pop it in place and twist it, and it locks in place.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's really really nice as well. So I just mounted one last night, and it's meshing to a 536, the 4x4.
Yeah. So it'll mesh to the 536 and to any. It'll mesh to any access point, basically, right? Like any Ingenious
Oh
cloud
yeah,
and cloud access point, down to the 120. Although I wouldn't recommend it, you're going to get really low speeds. Um,
yeah. Why waste?
yeah, don't do Wi-Fi 5. I've told a couple
Don't waste your
customers
time
this
on it.
week
I
that
mean,
if you're doing a new
yeah,
install,
it's
right?
so accessible now.
Right. Um, Now,
Wi-Fi 5 shouldn't be a question.
right.
Question.
It still is though. Talking about that mount a little more. Like, so a couple of customers have told me that it fits in a standard junction box too. Like the screws line up so that you can just screw it into the box, and it also lines up with some other older access points that you may be taking down. Right, some lower
And
quality
you can
access
mention
points.
you can mention them if you want.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Just like so, if you're some have told us that they line up with some existing other manufacturers too, so that if you're it just makes it easier if you're doing a refresh, you're not gonna have to drill more holes. That it's
Right.
either gonna fit in the junction box or probably with other access points that their mounting kit, right? And the old
Right.
mount, you had to like slide the thing on, right? Like the 220s and 230s.
The 220s and 230s and the 220s and 230s.
Yeah.
Like for me, the way I have it mounted in my place, I actually liked how it mounted because you're just mounting that plate in there and then you're sliding it and clicking it into place. But
Right.
that's not, maybe that won't fit in every scenario, but it fit in my scenario really well.
Yeah, and I think this mount is more for cooling too because these have a big heat sink on the bottom. So they probably want to give you a little bit of a gap between the ceiling.
There's a slight gap. So, I'm sorry. So thinking about this and talking about this, you were talking about the size of this one. It's more compact. So I was running a 230S in my garage, which it's pretty slim, right?
Yep.
When I was like, oh, this looked thicker and bigger, but when I mounted it was actually, the footprint seemed smaller. And it didn't seem as thick, and there was like a slight gap between the ceiling and the AP.
Yeah.
Which was totally fine. This AP runs fairly cool, not cool, but it doesn't run too hot or anything. So I don't think you'll have issues there whatsoever. But the mounting was really clean.
Yeah,
So
and the power again. The power is PoE plus. So you shoot out 3 AT switch. Most standard switches, 1 gigabit switches are going to work with this AP, right? And
any of our multi-gig, any of our gigabit will work with that, no problem.
As well as 10 gig.
As well as 10 gig. There's only one switch it wouldn't work with, which is an AF switch, a small 8-port switch.
Right.
You typically probably wouldn't use anyway. And it would work with our extender switches as well.
Okay.
So,
yep.
Yeah. Because you're getting 30 watts. The power consumption on this guy is 21 watts.
21 watts. All right. Yeah. So I mean, it's easier to upfit without ripping out the entire network, right? Because switches, the life cycle on switches is a lot longer than APs. So if you just put switches in, you won't necessarily have to go to multi-gig right now, unless you're planning to. If it's a whole new install, definitely do 10 gig. Switches. But and what were you going to say about the mounting kit?
Yeah, so the mounting kit is definitely new. This is the packaging of it. So you just slide this bad boy off, and then it's mounted. The mounting kit's like this.
Yep.
So this is the mounting plate. This is what I mounted into the wall. We give you 2 screws and the drywall. What are they called?
Those are called mollies, I think.
Mollies, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, so you get, and then you have for T-rails.
Oh, okay, that's what those are for. I was wondering.
Yeah, they squeeze onto the T-rail.
Okay.
But yeah, this actually locks into place. Let's see if I can get this right.
I hope you get it off. Yeah.
What's that?
I hope it comes off once you get it on there.
So there's an arrow that lines up. You just place it on and turn it, and it's locked in place. So I'm gonna drop it.
Nice.
So there's this little gap between the ceiling but it's actually pretty small, like finger width, I would say.
And show where the Ethernet cable goes through. It passes through the mount, so you can plug it in, through that hole.
No. So you mean if you're running it through the mount?
I mean, that's how, if it's installed in your junction box, the cable can go through that little gap there, right?
Yeah, there's a little gap
Right.
on multiple sides,
Yeah.
and then there's holes at the top too.
Right. So
They
that's
can
gonna it's gonna
utilize.
go in through the holes in the top, and then out through that gap and into the AP. They're
Right,
gonna
exactly.
terminate
Yep.
it there
Yeah,
probably.
it can go through the side and then through the side would be maybe a little tight, but
Yeah.
yeah, you can go through that too.
Okay. So that's nice. And like we said, you sent some demo units out and people have been testing them and they're getting pretty good results. I saw one that was over 3 gig with open speed test, right? So the speeds on this are still good
Yeah.
for a small AP.
Now I ran it just really quick before we talk about that. Like on the mounting,
Yep.
what you're gonna do is you're gonna push up on the AP and then twist, and it will release.
Okay. Push
So
up
just
twist.
super clean, super easy.
Yep.
So yeah. So in regards to like the test, I did a test last night, and I posted on LinkedIn. But I ran it on. I was on my laptop, and I was mounting these new APs, and I was like, I meshed the 526 with the 536
Mm-hmm.
on 2.4 gigahertz,
Ah.
and I have two SSIDs, and one is 5 gigahertz, one 6 gigahertz. So I ran a quick test, and the speeds were pretty. I was pretty surprised with the speed.
What did you get for the speeds?
Like 200 something,
Okay.
240 something, and then when I moved to 6 gigahertz,
Ah.
like 500.
So when you were meshing at 2.4 and you still got over 200.
Yeah.
So that
yeah.
was probably using. It could have been using Wi-Fi 7 at 2.4, right? So it's using like the higher QAMs and getting higher speeds, even on 2.4.
You know what? I did not even think of that, and you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was seeing 500 on my 6 gigahertz test.
Right. So that you did mesh at 6 gigahertz, or you didn't? You connected at 6 gigahertz.
No. I meshed on 2.4 gigahertz,
Oh, okay.
and I connected from my laptop from the same spot
Yeah.
to 5 gigahertz first, ran a test real quick, and then connected to 6 gigahertz, ran a test real quick.
Okay. So 500 meg is way more than you would see, like, meshing on 2.4 usually.
Yeah.
Usually maybe
Yeah, because
you'd
I was
see 100 or
I was
less.
surprised by that.
Yeah.
I even went to the AP. You know, you can go to the AP and look at Live Client to make sure I was connected to that AP. I was
Yeah.
like, am I connected to the 4x4 directly? And I wasn't. I was connected to that AP.
Nice. All right. Well, so this sounds like an awesome AP. I think a lot of people will be interested in it, and we have some in stock today. If anyone wants to order, just call me, send me an email, order off the website.
And what I would say to that is right now we're out.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like you have inventory.
I have a few left. I'm going to go take a picture of how many I have and post it on LinkedIn. People like to see that. All right. All right. So everyone remember, like and subscribe. We'll be back next week, and we'll talk some more about this Access